Thanks for having me, Bill.
Yeah, I want to have a substantive debate with you, but let's see if we can together agree that the absurdity of the minority leader's statement questioning the competency of Donald Trump is beyond debate. It is absurd after years of refusing to acknowledge the truth when it comes to Joe Biden and seemingly manufacturing a truth when it comes to Donald Trump. I hope that's where we can agree and then move to more substantive debate.
Well, look, Will, I don't know whether it's incompetence, cognitive abilities, ignorance, or just plain flat-out lying, but Donald Trump doesn't know that a photo he's showing is photoshopped. He doesn't know that the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 against him. He's got Elon Musk in the Oval Office doing press conferences. He doesn't understand what trade deficits are and is tanking our economy. So you can call it whatever you want, but it's been a pretty disastrous first 100 days.
First of all, I could debate you on each and every one of those things you just laid out, but I don't think you can call it whatever you want. I think that's an incorrect statement, Congressman. I think words have meaning and they matter. And I think you know that. I think we have to be careful with our words, especially if we're not trying to inflame the public, and most certainly if we're trying to arrive at the truth. And after 4 years of having us gaslighted over the competency, the mental acuity of the previous president, it's absurd to question, even if you disagree, Congressman, and clearly you do with much of the president, the competency of the sitting president today. I think the accuracy and truth of those words do matter.
Well, I don't think he's competent, Will. I don't know what to tell you. Whether his cognitive abilities are sufficient to get past the 25th Amendment, you know, we don't know that right now. But I think what is clear is that he has driven our country into a disastrous economy. He has undermining the fundamental rule of law and democracy. He is taking away benefits in order to cut taxes for the rich. I think even you, Will, would have to agree with me that this first 100 days is not at all what he promised the American people.
No, I'm sorry to notify you. I do not agree with you. I think this first 100 days is exactly what he promised the American people, and more importantly, exactly what was voted on by the American people.
Really?
But,
I think the American people thought that he was going to lower costs, not raise them.
Congressman,
you
first
agree
of
with me
all,
on that?
He talked about bringing tariffs in for 40 years. He did lower. Inflation is down. The stock market has been on a roller coaster because of tariffs, and it has never been promised to be an overnight solution. It is a long-term play to reorganize the global economy to bring manufacturing back to America. It's fair to you to point out that it's going to be rocky in the beginning. That's fair. But I would hope that I'm not the only person trying to have a fair conversation here. I have here a list of topics that I thought maybe you'd be interested in talking about. I looked at your feed. You have concerns about potential cuts to Medicare, Medicaid. You have potential concerns about cuts to FEMA. But you have chosen to come here with me today, and I'm disappointed in this, I'm being honest with you, Congressman, and talked about the 25th Amendment. There's a difference between you and I disagreeing. And there's a difference between you disagreeing with the president and what the minority leader and you have now just done. And you've suggested to the American people, because you disagree, which you have an American right to do, that somehow all of a sudden he needs to see the 25th Amendment invoked on the President of the United States. I'm not confident we're off to a productive conversation on potential cuts to FEMA.
Well, look, I didn't bring up the issue. You brought up the issue, and I said I don't know whether or not the 25th Amendment would apply.
I didn't bring up the 25th Amendment.
Well, that's what, yes, I'm referencing the standard for cognitive competence in the presidency is the 25th Amendment. I have not spoken with him. I don't know whether he is or he isn't. What I'm just talking about is what has actually happened in these first 100 days. And I'm happy to have that conversation with you.
Yeah, I
because
think
it
what's
is not
happening
what he
in
promised
America.
America. It is not what he campaigned on.
Look,